Hey YouTubers, today we're going to be painting patio doors, and I just wanted to give you a couple of tips on how to deal with the hardware that we may encounter on patio doors or any other door for that matter, be they entranceway or doors in partition walls. So let's take a look, see how we can save ourselves some time and trouble. So as you can see, we have this long metal strike plate on the edge of this patio door, and we also have the black hardware as well. And so as you can see, I primed this already, but I used a very small craft brush to paint this narrow portion of the wood, and I would say that probably took me at least 20 minutes, if not half an hour, just to paint in that little area. And it's important that we do, because we want to protect the wood, but that's a little bit too much time to be spending on that small area. So let's see what we can do to counteract this. So as much as professionals don't like to use tape, there are times when it just makes sense to go ahead and use it. So how would we apply it in this situation? I would mask off the metal, the pre-painted metal. I would mask off on this side. And be sure to press that in along the edge, especially because we don't want paint bleeding down. If we are going to use tape, we don't want the paint to bleed under the edges. So we have to make sure that that leading edge of the tape is pressed down really well. Then I line up the edge of the tape on the inside of the strike plate. Right to the end. Maybe make sure that edge is pressed in nice and tight. As with the other edge, you take your knife, lay it down there. Just follow the edge of the strike plate, like so. And where this little latch was, clean that off. A little bit of paint, paint this edge first. Paint that outer edge. As you can see, we don't have to worry now about getting it on that metal. And on the side, another coat. just because the professionals don't like to use tape where it makes economic sense to do so. You just want to go ahead and do that. So now that we have our edge of our door completely painted and the strike plate is cleaned, now we're dealing with the black hardware. So now we have the other side of the coin where people, especially DIYers, may be inclined to tape all this up. But by the time you tape that up, you may as well have painted it. It just takes a little bit of technique and a bit of patience. So I'll just demonstrate how I would go about doing that. So load up the brush, like the bulk of the paint down on this larger area beside it. And then I would cut in to the hardware and go all the way through. Then when the brush, while my brush is still reasonably dry, I go to the short side, just brush through with the wet paint. When the brush is a little drier, cut in to the hardware, like so. And then when I come to the bottom, I just place my brush about 1/2 inch away from the hardware, and then go up, and then just reverse on the brush, conform to the shape of the hardware, and then pull the paint down. So just lay the brush down, sneak into the edge of the hardware, and then brush back down, like so. Just a little bit more paint, strike it off. The bulk of the paint off, and then sneak back into there, conform to the shape of the hardware, pull back. And there. Done. I hope you enjoyed those demonstrations on how to paint around your hardware that you may come across on doors. And so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them and I'll respond to them. And by all means subscribe, and I look forward to sending out more videos. So until next time, it's Craig the Muskoka Painter, helping you take the pain out of painting.